cultural inheritance just means all of the awesome qualities you get to inherit from your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. And I don't even think it's about the traits that you can say out loud, right? Like your work ethic or you play well with others. It's more just about like your innate ability to be a good human because your parents are good humans.
Cultural inheritance to me comes from the fact that I was brought up by my own grandmother, and I didn't realize it at the time while I was growing up. But as an adult, I understand that most of what I am and what I think and many of my habits all came from her. And I'm pretty sure that her habits and her identity also came from her parents and grandparents.
In 1976, Benish Glenoy and her husband Dima made the agonizing decision to flee the Soviet Union with their two young daughters through a crack in the Iron Curtain they knew might soon close. The Soviet Union needed trade with the U.S. Jews in the United States seized the opportunity to apply pressure, forming the Save Soviet Jewry movement. Bene and her family arrived in Vienna on 22 April 1976. From there, Hayas took them to Italy for 5 months, and then they immigrated to the United States, landing in the Rogers Park in Chicago, Illinois. Hayas helped them every step of the way, from the moment they got off the train in Vienna until they deplaned at O'Hare International Airport.
When I was a sophomore in college, I was applying for internships, and I remember that, I filled out dozens of applications, and a few came back, and one was for a job opportunity in Columbus, Ohio. And I remember talking to my dad, and I said, I don't really want to go there. I know it's a great opportunity, but I just can't go to another state by myself where I don't know anyone. And when my dad told me we all did it, I kind of thought, oh my God, like they really packed their bags, went and just showed up in another country. They didn't speak the language. They didn't have a home. They didn't have money. And I had all of those things, right? And I was nervous.
In Chicago, the Jewish Family and Community Services gave us guidance on everything from finding housing and jobs to grocery shopping. They essentially explained to us how to be American.
I don't even feel like I'm an American.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do we ever describe ourselves as American?
No.
We're Russian Jews.
Yeah, I think we're Americanized, but obviously because we've been going to school in America and we've lived here our whole life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't consider myself American, I don't think, either.
Yeah. I can't really remember the last time I described myself as American, if anyone ever asks.
Yeah.
Rarely. I would just say I'm a Russian Jew.
Yeah.
But we are American.
Yeah, definitely.
100% American.
Yeah. I think we partially take for granted that we're American just because we didn't go through what you guys went through. We've only known what it's like to be living in America. But we obviously hear the stories, and we do know that we're lucky to be American. Maybe it's not something that goes through my head every day, but I do know that I'm lucky to be living in America.
What did they hope for their children and their grandchildren? They wanted them to have a good education. They wanted them to feel comfortable with their friends and not to feel different. They wanted them just to be part of the country and the life.
We wanted our children and grandchildren to be American, but we wanted them to be conscious of where they came from. We told them the stories so they could compare.
Based on the stories I've heard from you guys, it definitely affects just how I am every day and my outlook on life. I think because my parents and you guys basically have so much out of nothing, And because of that, I feel like I work a lot harder in school because I also want to be successful and I want that for my kids and my grandkids.
Yeah, I think that knowing my family's story doesn't really affect me on a day-to-day basis. I don't think I think about our freedom maybe as much as I should, but I think that when there are like crucial moments in my life, like writing my college essays, that's what they were all about, right? Because that's like the most interesting part of me, that I'm a first generation American, that I speak Russian sometimes. You know, like a lot of my friends don't have that story, so I think it's unique. Some of my favorite Russian Jewish traditions, and I'm sure Becky agrees, one is just celebrating New Year's, kind of like how Americans celebrate Christmas with the tree, because it's like so similar to an American holiday, but you still have to explain to your friends why you're celebrating New Year's with the tree.
Yeah, my Jewish friends, they don't make New Year's as big of a deal as they do Hanukkah.
Yeah.
But I feel like for Russian Jews, we make New Year's a much bigger deal, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really different.
Yeah, and the food.
Yeah, and there's always Russian food. We were talking about how there's always Russian food everywhere, no matter what holiday, whether it's American, Jewish, we're always eating Russian food, so that's been brought down to us from you guys.
Мои grandchildren плохо едят Russian food.
They're very fussy, our grandchildren, right, Alla?
Yeah.
They're very fussy.
Well, Alla makes syrniki, which is like,
Syrnik.
it's like cheese, pancakes, kind of. That's how I describe it in English. So I've been eating that my whole life, my whole family. Chicken soup, that's kind of a Jewish thing, maybe. Yeah, I've always been eating that.
Potato latkes,
Yeah, things
which
like
you
that.
don't eat. I am so proud of our grandchildren and our children that they follow our heritage, that they remember that they're Jewish.
Growing up, I felt like the expectation was always to do well. Because my parents and grandparents came here and taught me the value of hard work, it's just instilled in me to do that.